We talked about alternatives. We talked about Indiegogo. We talked about folks. Do you really think, and I have to ask this question because I asked this with just some guy the other day as well, like, do you think that there is I'm a capitalist, so I always got to look at it in terms of the market. Is there some sort of opportunity there for folks like us, or like-minded rather, to produce an alternative that could be wildly successful enough to compete with them? No, we talked about, the EVSs of the world and making $1 million on Indiegogo with their comic books. But in other forms of entertainment, including comics, do you think that there's an opportunity for people to come up with an alternative that would dare to be successful enough to compete with the big dogs?
Eventually, but it's never going to be like centralized. The Indiegogo thing, the comic book thing it's a bit of a cult of personality, and unless your comic is just like I don't know, like Picasso level good. You're going to need to have EVS is that combination of like dynamic, funny personality on YouTube and top tier artists. So that's a rare thing. Most artists don't have that kind of personality.
That's true.
Eric, you could sell more comic books than Al Ewing could in a second.
That's going to be my next project, actually.
Good. We need you making comic books because Al Ewing, I'm on a mission against this guy now.
Dude, trust me, man. I'm right there with you. I mean, definitely consider what he just did with Guardians, man. Like, I can't. That fucking guy is something else, man. He blocked me on Twitter too, but he's something else interesting enough. But yeah, like I always think about it, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because that's probably my next venture, seriously, because I do think that there may be an opportunity. I can't say the same for like animation or acting, because that's a whole nother ball game, I don't really know. I know that there's actors. I have one that'll be on my show here soon that exist in Hollywood that are dealing with this, and they're trying to produce their own films and stuff like that. I just don't know how wildly successful that they're going to be, but I just would like to think that in certain mediums there's an opportunity to be had, kind of like what we did with YouTube. It's like, we existed on a platform that, they don't seem as welcoming as they were before. But, as it showed people, and that's what the Phantom Menace was when it first, that's really what it was. It showed people that, wait a minute, there are folks that are seeing the same thing that I see. I'm not fucking crazy, right? And I'm thinking that there's, obviously we saw a lot of success over the course of the last couple of years because of it, because we existed on this platform and we showed that they're not crazy. So I like to think that when it comes to the entertainment, hopefully, I may be too optimistic here, maybe even naive, that I could, as an example, just because this is something I realistically could team up with another badass artist and actually produce something that those guys, the Marvels and the DCs of the world, would be like, that's a threat, right? Because there's enough people to at least pay attention. That's, which I think is all it takes, and maybe it'll have an impact. I don't know, but at least that's where I'm at. Am I being too optimistic or naive?
No. There's a huge opportunity out there, right? And more people need to take it, because Marvel and DC are not producing the content that their audiences want. So I went and took a look at Al Ewing's Guardians of the Galaxy sales, and they're not good. They're not good. 27,000 with variants. I'm going to say it's probably 2 variants. I say actual people who read the book, probably like 15,000 people in a country of 331 million.
That is amazing.
So if Eric July wrote a Guardians of the Galaxy comic, it would sell more. You would sell 100,000 copies. You would, if you made it an Indiegogo, it would sell. It would sell a lot. And that's where we're at. So there's a huge opportunity. What's going to happen to Marvel and DC is they're going to license their characters out to smaller companies so they don't have to produce them, and they're going to shut their operations down. Unfortunately, the cult that works in comics, and it's the Portland cult of weirdos, they're still going to be there until the last person stops buying it. And That's what it's tough to do, but I practice what I preach. I don't call for boycotts because I mean, it's a personal decision not to buy something, and I don't want to shame anybody.
Absolutely.
But I don't buy Marvel comics anymore. I don't buy brand new ones, and it hurts. I missed going to my comic shop, so I go to a comic shop now, and I just buy some old
stuff. Yeah,
buy some old stuff, and this stuff. Oh my God, is it good? Man. And this was stuff they wrote to get around the comics code. And dude, you don't get art like this in anything now. And I'm okay with it. But I think there's a huge opportunity for you. Will it become the next mainstream? I don't know. It doesn't need to.
That's true. That's true. It doesn't need to. Yeah.
You're in the music scene. You know better than me because, think about the old punk rock scene, the old independent scene. I mean, that's kind of what the Indiegogo scene is. It's the new punk rock, and you can definitely live there look at Social D. You can live there for and eat off of it all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so you're right about that. And yeah, that's the one thing that, again, that's my next project, and hopefully we can, I'm going to get a big campaign taking it serious. And when I do something, I take it serious, man. And that's, they got to have someone that can compete. And I'm like, who better than me? I just got to,
I'll back it. Yeah. I will shout it out. Just let me know when you get started. I'll be your biggest fan.
Man, I appreciate that. So before we go, what else do you got planned on, and where can everybody find, of course, everything it is that is you, if someone's silly enough to, for whatever reason, know about me but don't know about you?
You're world famous, man. I'm Gary from Nerdrotic, and I'm on YouTube's naughty list right now, and have been for a couple of months. And I'm sure you are too, Eric. Yeah. So we're on YouTube's naughty list. And what I'm thinking about doing is getting alternative forms. You can only fight Mama Susan for so long.
True.
So I'm gonna do it as long as I can, and never thought it would last forever. So for right now, you can find me on YouTube, but there's going to be other places you can find me. And when the world opens back up again, which it will, I'm going to open up a comic shop in Texas.
Nice.
And spend my days fighting the man and reading comic books.
Man.
So.
Oh man, that's exciting, and I'm behind you 100%. Definitely considering I'm out here in Texas too. So you let me know what.